Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Book Over, where we talk about books, especially the ones that give us book hangovers. Today, we have a special guest, Emilie, who did the art for the cover Broken Bonds. I absolutely love the artwork on this book, if you haven't noticed, and I am so thrilled to be talking to her today. I hope you enjoy it too. So, Emilie, a while back I noticed on Instagram that you posted the cover of Broken Bonds, and you said that how you were like reading the book and you loved the cover and you really liked the book. So that kind of answered one of my questions for me, because you don't get to read the book to make the cover. So how does the cover design come up? Like, how did you come up with that? Was it just a lot of like Laura or Jay Bree talking to you about kind of what they're looking at, or like how did you?
It depends. Sometimes you can read the book or the story before you do the cover, which obviously helps. But I think with the problem with indie author, not the problem, but they're just always so busy and they're writing constantly, aren't they? And it's a lot quicker turnaround for them. So I think as soon as they finish it, it can kind of go live. Whereas if you're doing a cover for with a publisher, there's a lot of more process, isn't there? So I suppose the story is written a lot of the time before the cover is done, which means that in that case you can read it, but in here I couldn't. But I got a lot of direction from Laura. I've been liaising with Laura mainly, and she sort of feeds it back to Jay Bree. But yeah, no, she just it was sort of like a perfect compilation of getting enough information, but also getting the freedom to design how I wanted to design something. So I kind of love that marriage, because it enables me to be as creative as possible, and then it means that also the client usually is happy because I'm doing everything that they've asked for. They've given me enough to work from, kind of thing. And with the process of how this came about, they basically just sent like a Pinterest board, and it just had some images, like maybe about 10 of the general vibe that they were liking. And first of all, they said they wanted something similar to, I think, Crescent City, by Sarah J. Maas. And then they thought, because they liked they liked her and all the elements around her. I don't know if you know what that cover looks like, but it sort of like has the main character, and then it has some elements around the main character. And then they came back to me and said, you know what, we've thought about it, and we really like the close up, like a face close up, a bit like Aurora Rising, by J. Kristoff.
Okay.
And Amy Kaufman, I think. So that's sort of the art, I think, is done by Charlie Bowater, and it's a very close-up shot of the main character, and it's got cool lighting and stuff like that. And they said, you know what, we really love that kind of effect. But what we want is a close-up character, but we also want some Easter eggs, so sort of clues of what there's going to be in the story.
Okay.
And then they was talking about like her power is linked to death. I'm not going to go too much into it, but so they wanted to have some sort of death omens shown, and that is in the art is shown by the ravens and the, how do you say, oleander flower, which is also her name, so it sort of has that link. And also obviously the skull and things like that, so there was a real correlation with death and that theme around that. So yeah, that's what they initially gave me. And then they said, how, it's now in the ball's in your court, could you help us show all of that in a creative way? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So for me it was great, because there was a lot of information, as I said, but I still had free reign to kind of do what I wanted. And I really liked the idea of having a close-up face, because in a way that's more personal. And I think it really encourages the viewer to have an emotional reaction to that kind of personal feeling, you know. So I decided to have to really play with lighting. I wanted that to be my main focus. So to have sort of harsh lighting coming from the top or anywhere, and for that to create very harsh shadows, so cast shadows, and for the Easter eggs to be kind of intertwined around her as if in real life, because those the light and shadows are creating the sense of them really being there, you know. And I also wanted it to be kind of mysterious and enigmatic and a bit morbid, a bit macabre almost. But I also wanted to make sure that it stayed beautiful and appealing, because at the end of the day, it is a book and you want people to pick it up, you know. If it's too far one side, it could just drive people away. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to do.
Good. So when you say that, like, you were really excited because you got a lot of free range, like, to me, that makes me nervous thinking about free range, just because what if they don't like it, or what if you're taking their things and interpreting it? I mean, I know you have like sample covers of other authors' books, but like, you know, like, is that stressful for you at all?
Well, no, because the process, the way that works, the way I work anyway, but a lot of artists will work, or creatives will work very similarly, is there's several steps. So it's never like, okay, you have the brief and then we'll see the art when it's finished. It's never like that. So the first step would be sketches, and I will show more than one. So then, you know, you can go like safe on one sketch and then you can go like all out on another, and it gives you that creativity, freedom, but then it gives the client freedom of choice. You know, they feel like they have an input of where it's going to go, where the concept is going to go, because they have choice, you know, sketches or thumbnails to choose from. So in terms of this project, that's exactly what I did. You know, I did maybe 3, I think, thumbnails for that one. I had probably done more, you know, really rough sketches, but then I'll like filter it down to the ones that are presentable, and then I'll work them up a little bit more. And I'll usually do thumbnails. So that would include lighting as well as it being a sketch. So it would include value. So you see where the light's coming from, where the shadow's coming from, and then you see the overall shape. And then with that being a close-up, it was just you know, different angles of the face, and then different ways of the omens being intertwined, and the Easter eggs and things like that, different direction of lighting. You know, I always thought of having that flowing hair to the back of the book, because I thought that could intertwine really well.
Yes, I love that part. Sorry.
So luckily, you know, I always make sure as well that I'm happy with all of them, all of the concepts I'm giving them. But I usually always have like a favorite, and luckily they chose my favorite, which was Sidon looking at the skull. So I was really happy they loved that too. And then after that, I like to, in stage 2, so I do a presentation for that, I usually do color combinations, so variations of color themes, and then they can choose their favorite color theme, you know, for the cover. So for this one, it was more of a cool toned, very almost monochromatic kind of theme, and they had chosen that because I had given different examples. So I suppose that's when you feel secure in that you're going in the right direction, because you've gotten that feedback from the client. They're really happy where it's going, or if they have like points that they want to mention, they can, and then it's still early enough in the stage that you can change things around to suit what they've said. So to answer your question, no, I don't find it nerve-wracking. I actually love that. I love getting the freedom. Because with this project, for example, it wasn't so free reign that, okay, do anything you want, you know. They were quite specific. We want it close up, we want the omens, we want well, that was pretty much it. But then they gave me They gave me, Pinterest pictures, which I always find so useful. And if clients don't give them to me, I always ask for that, because I always find that with pictures, they speak 1,000 words. So it's so much easier for them to give you exactly what's in their mind through, what they pin and the general look and feel. So that helped a lot, actually, the way they did it.
Yeah, I can see that. This one was like one of the first times I looked at a cover and I was like, I love it. Like, I absolutely loved it. I posted on my Instagram account a bunch of pictures of it, because I think it's like the actual like artwork of it too, but like I can stare at it. I feel like I need a print for my wall, because I'm like, I can stare at this, like it has so much going on, but it's so subtle that it's not like crazy busy.
Yeah.
So I think you're really talented, and I love that. Sorry, the book's over here, so I keep looking at it.
Oh, have you got a hardcover of it?
Yes.
Oh, I've not seen
the
that.
paperback. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I've not seen it in like live or in real. I've only seen a digital version. Obviously how I work.
Yeah.
But thanks so much. That means a lot, because obviously for me, that is my point of doing the art, is so that people can pick it up and go, wow, I really want to read it,
Yeah.
And there's a saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but I want people to want to pick it up, and it's just such a bonus that the story inside was so good, and I really enjoyed that as well. But yeah, no, thanks so much. That means a lot.
So with the looks of Ollie on the cover, like, did they give you direction on that, like in a sample of like, we kind of want her to look like this actress or something, or did you kind of just...
They gave me a picture of a girl, but she was front on. So I just had to kind of guess what that would look like side on. But I did get one image, and actually for all of the other characters, I'm going to get an image of what, how Jay Bree pictures the characters. Yeah.
Okay. I think we've all seen those images. It's probably all the ones that she's been posting and stuff. So that's exciting. So, I don't know, like, and what you were saying though about like the Easter eggs, the omens all weaved in there, like I think that's one of the things that draws me so much to the cover, is because like it's not just one thing to look at, like your eyes drawn to like the moth and the oleander flowers in there and the raven, and those were actually questions that Megan and I had, because we're like, are there meanings behind these, like, because I was like, they all seem related to death or the afterworld to me, and like and I knew the flowers were oleanders because that just made sense, but I just
you guessed right.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love when books have sort of links or Easter eggs, as you could call them, so what comes ahead, little clues. So yeah, definitely is. I don't know fully, because I actually don't know what's going to happen in the future books, but I do know that it's linked. They're linked to her power, basically.
Okay. Yeah. A part of me was like, with the ravens, I'm like, is that gonna be like, North and Knox, like, is that like, is each one of those gonna be somebody, like, but I was just guessing everything, and so
I think the ravens they're linked to death, but don't quote me on that, because it may, as I said, I don't know what fully happens, but I'm actually doing the next cover now, so I've got more different clues for that cover.
You're so lucky. So with the next cover, like the book's coming out in a little over than a month, how far are you in it? Like, how long does it take you to make this? Like, is this like a rush thing for you, or is this like right on schedule? Like, what's the timeline kind of?
For the last book I quoted 6 days, and that would include my research, setting up presentations, all of that backlog, as well as doing the art. Is quite time consuming, but I wouldn't do it in 6 days. It would probably take me at least a month, because there's a lot of back and forth, and I'm also talking with other clients, doing other projects at the same time. But I think it's usually about a month to 3 months, even from start to finish of a project. But with this one, it was quite a quick turnaround, because it was just quite urgent. So I did that, I think, in just under a month actually. But the next book, I sort of overbooked myself in the next few months. So I actually hadn't booked them in for that project. So I'm sort of weaving that in between all my other projects. So it's taking a little bit longer. I probably got the brief a month and a half ago, and the deadline is literally just before it's getting released. So it will take me the same amount of time, but obviously I'm just staggering it. So yeah, that's pretty standard for that to be that long.
And so since you're doing the other books, so you're doing all 6 covers, with 5 to go or 4.5 to go. Will you, because like I understand what Jay Bree said in past, it's almost like every other month or every few months the books will be released. So, you know, as soon as you're done with this one, and will you be kind of hopping on to the next one as soon as you have the time to, basically?
I've got the third book is actually booked in this time for December. So I think I'll have a little bit of a break and then get onto the third book. And then not sure about the future books yet, but it'll be next year sometime.
That's exciting. I'm really excited to see what you do with everything. I know that Jay Bree did a live video on Facebook, and she was saying each cover is going to have one of the characters, one of the guys on it coming up.
Oh good, I'm glad she said that, because I didn't know if I could say it or not.
And she wouldn't say who though, so don't tell me who.
I'm not gonna reveal.
Even though I have my theories of who it will be.
What's that?
It will be. I hope it's Knox. I feel like he's the one that needs the most. I don't know. Part of me says it's going to be Knox now, or he's going to be like one of the last ones, because I feel like the relationship with him is the one that's going to need the most work in this book.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
it's a bit turbulent at the moment, isn't it?
yeah. So I'm curious if it's either. I feel like it's either going to be Knox or North. I feel like, but I could be. You know, there's so many to choose from, because now when I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, well, maybe not. Maybe it's going to be, you know, Griffin, or you know,
I'm saying
like,
nothing.
like it could really be any of them. I guess I just hope it would be one of the brothers, just because I feel like North needs to work through stuff. Knox definitely needs to. But I mean, and who knows if it relates
the most, actually.
So
I can't say, but
So since you read the book, like, do you have like a favorite guy in the book, like, or
I think I got interested or intrigued by North the most, just because I think I kind of like an enemies to lover storyline. I really like that, but at the same time I don't love it when they're too cruel or mean. So that's why Knox is not there for me quite yet. But I kind of liked, I don't know, North. I just want him to be proven wrong, if you know what I mean, because he's got such like warped assumptions of her. And every time she kind of said, oh, I've not, you know, I don't know how many spoilers we can say here, but you can just edit them out. But yeah, every time she's like, oh, I've not eaten for like 5 days, he's like, oh, stop being a brat, like you're lying. And it's just like, what? No.
Right.
And he's done that a few times. So I kind of like his moody, polite attitude, and he seems like he's actually quite nice, because he's kind to other people. It's just with her, he's just got such a warped vision of her that I just would like that to change, and I'm excited to see where that goes. And it's less obvious, I suppose, where it will go, because it could go one of two ways.
Right. Yeah, his feelings for her, because he's so standoffish with her, right? He won't talk to her much, and will just say negative stuff to her. And then that way he treats her like that, you're like, you know, the other guys like Gabe, you know, cares for her, you know, Griffin cares for her, Atlas for sure, you know. But with, you know, both the brothers, but North, like, you're like, why are you, besides that she's your center of this whole thing, like, why are, you know, so I agree.
How about you?
Interesting. He's also kind of, I feel like, the leader of the group, and I feel like that could be because of age and money and status, but like, he is very intriguing to me. They all are.
They all are, to be fair. I've grabbed to most of them. And even the ones like, for example, Knox, I'm like, oh, you just mean, but I feel like there'll be a redemption arc in future books. So I'm just patient, and I'll just see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you? Who was your favorite?
Well, so earlier I was saying my favorite, the first, I read it twice now. I reread it to do the podcast. So the first time around, I really liked Gabe. Gabe and Griffin and Atlas were like my top three. Atlas makes me wary because I feel like he's just too good to be true.
Too nice. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, he's faking it. I don't believe
I'm
it.
like, there's something going on there, which, you know.
I feel like he's tricking her.
Yeah. And I could be just looking for stuff. I don't know, you know. But Gabe was really like the number one for, and I think that's because we spend so much time with him in that book. And I know he cares about her, but he just doesn't know how to deal with it and all that. But the second time reading it, Gabe really started making me mad because I was like, dude, like stand up.
He's very emotional.
He was
a bit too emotional for me.
But Griffin, I feel like Griffin's like my guy, just like
he's a dark horse, isn't he?
You know, but like him coming in her room, cuddling her, helping with her cramps, like all that stuff, I was just like, the questions he was asking her, you know, trying to figure it out.
He's my second favorite, to be fair. I think sorry.
So I was just like, but I'm starting to lean towards feeling, you know, for those Draven brothers too. Like I'm very intrigued by them, and I feel like they're gonna have. So I don't know, but right now Griffin is like number one. He's on the top, you know. So
I think so. Yeah, like in terms of personality, I would agree with you. Actually, it's just I find North and the brothers in general quite intriguing because it's like there's something's going to happen. Whereas with the other ones, well, Atlas, I don't know, it just feels too nice. So actually, something could happen there. Whereas Griffin just seems like he's just a good guy and caring, but he's just quite moody and, well, not moody, but just how do you say it?
Well, he's just like
sure of himself and he doesn't give too much out. You know what I mean? Which is quite intriguing as well, to be fair.
Yes, I'm looking forward to finding out all their powers. And I think that will explain kind of how they act too. If we know a little bit more of their powers, maybe, you know, so.
I think, did one of them have they were or what do you call them?
A shifter.
Shifter, yeah.
So Gabe shifts.
Yes.
So we know that much, and we know what Nox can do. So we know, and Atlas a little bit, you know, the whole strength booming thing. I'm still a little vague on that. So So with the upcoming covers, like with this one, you know, you have those omens, those things weaved into the pictures with each guy. Will there be like something weaved into kind of with them that goes along with like Oleander and them, or?
Yeah, I actually don't know the future covers because I've not got that brief, but for the cover I'm doing right now, definitely. It's not going to have the same things, but it's going to have if you would call it its own world of like omens or Easter eggs. It's going to be the same sort of theme.
Cool.
In that sense.
I'm so jealous that you get to, you know, you've read the book, you're getting hints of the story as you get to do the artwork, and you get to do what you love by making the artwork of it. Like that's just like, to me, how lucky are you to do that? I mean, have you done artwork for other covers where you didn't really like the book, or have you like kind of enjoyed them all?
I suppose like when I do covers, I get more of an emotional attachment to them because I'm doing the artwork. So I never not like something. It's difficult to say if I had read it without me being so linked to the story in a way, because I suppose when I'm doing the art, I do get an emotional connection with that art. So then in that way, it makes a connection with the book. So but there's definitely been books where I've been like, wow, this is amazing, you know, I've really connected with it, like this book, for example. I really loved it. So there's definitely times where I'm like, I really love them.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the rest of the covers because I know I love this cover so much that I can guarantee I'm gonna love the other ones.
Oh, I
And
hope so. The
um,
pressure's on.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think like it's just like the artwork, in general. So like, and you were saying like all of it, you just do like you sketch it and then it's all like computer.
Yeah, I even sketch on the computer as well.
Okay. Wow.
Because nowadays, with a pad and a stylus, it's just like pen and paper,
Yeah.
really. Sometimes I may sketch really quickly on paper if I have rough ideas I want to hash out, but it'll be sort of like stickman level and just to get the shapes. But I just tend to do it all on computer because you can do all of that.
Yeah.
And what I love with digital is you can feel like you're sketching, but then if you want to I just need to move the arm here, you can. Do you know what I mean? You can just like chop and change, and it flows a little better for me. But yeah, no, so everything's done digitally, but I love the look of traditional art. So I always like to have I try to have a traditional look to some of my art, not all of it. But with this one especially, I really wanted to focus on the brush strokes and them to be sort of visible in areas, and for it not to look too like immaculate, and I kind of like that look.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of one of the things I like about it is like the brush strokes to it. That's why I wasn't sure, because I'm like, this looks like you took the time to actually like paint it, and that's
that's really good. That's what I want. I want people to not be sure it was done digitally. Probably artists would know, but the general public definitely like that more painted oil paint or that kind of look. But I just have the freedom of working with digital, which gives you so many more things to do. So yeah, I sort of get the best of both worlds in that regard.
Yeah, well, I love it, and I'm looking forward to it. And
thank you.
I'm really excited that you're reading her books and you're enjoying them too. So you were saying that you just started reading some of Jay Bree's other books, and so you're in Hannaford Prep. So in the omnibus, the big book of all four of them, what year are you in right now? Like, do you remember?
I'm in year 2, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, they're all good, but I feel like year 2, Make Your Move, right? Where all the guys are like kind of hinting at their interest, and she's clueless and stuff like that. I don't know why, but I love that one. I feel like that's the funnest book. Less issues happening in the world of Mount Spey at that point. For just for all of us fans of Jay Bree, do you have a favorite character right now in the Hannaford Prep series?
Yeah, I do. Now I've got to admit, I'm really bad with names.
Okay.
And I keep I'm getting really confused with Broken Bonds characters and the Prep, because I've been reading both a bit at the same time at the moment, because I reread Broken Bonds to prepare for this, and then now I'm just like muddled. So the Avery's brother, what's his name?
Ash.
Ash, yeah. And I suppose it's a bit similar. Like I have it's a bit similar to North. I feel like he's got more hiding and more like it's less obvious. I like it when a character is less obvious with how they feel, or what their true intentions are, but again, not that I don't want it to be cruel. So I like it when a character is like quite reserved, guarded, may seem mean, but actually on the inside they're just really nice. They feel a lot, but they don't show it, and then that gets dragged out of them through the main character or whatever. I love those kind of characters. And I feel like the Gabe or he reminds me a bit of what's the guy with blonde hair, like
Harley, the swimmer.
He reminds me a bit of that, because they wear their hearts on their sleeve, and I suppose that's quite similar to how I am. So maybe I just like opposites attract kind of thing. And I gravitate less towards people who are just more obvious with their intentions or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because that's completely different to other people. It's just, it's interesting to me how different characters can grab other people's attention differently.
That's awesome. Well, and thank you for taking the time to come and not come here, but to chat with me about it too. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for inviting me. This was definitely fun. My first podcast.
Yeah, yay. I hope you all enjoyed our chat with Emilie. I love the cover of Broken Bonds, if you couldn't tell, and I'm really excited to see what she comes up with the other books. I loved hearing about her process and everything, and I hope you all did too. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Bye.